I'm going to talk about parties, I think, that are going to come out. Parties as in Conservative Party, Tory Party, Labour Party, Republican, Lib Dem, whatever party it is. And I think that at the moment there was something called the Monster Raving Lunar Party, and there was the Green Party, and there were all sorts of parties that came out. But there's not a lot of parties that actually worry specifically about the planet. One of the things that perhaps we need to do more than anything else is to have a party which is primarily concerned with the planet. In the past, the party would have been the Bible, the party would have been the religion. And you come from direct source. So whatever God says, God is the truth, we're in alignment, we have consciousness, and so that's the path. The problem with religions that were running the country is that the communication between them and consciousness or spirit or whatever it is that you want to call was interrupted. Ego came in, people weren't pure, the world went into a different simulation, the energy went down, there was corruption, Satan got stronger, whatever it is that you want to say. But the best possible system that you could possibly be in is when you are in alignment with consciousness, because consciousness speaks in a different language. It's a language that we don't understand. It comes from intuition. Consciousness is not mental. Consciousness, if consciousness is going to speak, it's going to be from the heart, not from the head, because the heart runs on a higher frequency than what the mind does. The mind is abstract, it's thought. The heart deals with things that you can't see. The heart is the thing that can see around the corner, which your eyes can't, which your mind can't. That's why the heart and the intuition are very important. However, they manage to get mixed up with emotion. And when they get mixed up with emotion, then we have issues, because you need to get your emotions under control. That's about dominating yourself. It's about purifying yourself. It's about being strong. It's about being educated, because education isn't always about the mind. The problem with school is that it's always about the mind, but education also comes from the heart. Education comes from a myriad of different things. Education in the olden days, in the forest, in the jungle, it came about from seeing things, from reading plants, from reading birds, from reading the calls, from reading the weather, from reading the stars, from reading the sun. Now we read books, but imagine being able to read the sun. Imagine being able to read the moon. Imagine being able to read the flowers. Imagine being able to read the wind. How much study does that take? How long does that take to know for us to be able to do something like that? Perhaps back then it was more natural. Perhaps them learning those things was like a child learning what it does today. It's very easy. And so what I believe is that in the olden days, perhaps the best form of governance was to be in line with upstairs, was to be in line with yourself, because upstairs comes through yourself. You're in line with yourself, you understand yourself, therefore you're vibrating at a particular rate, therefore what's upstairs can vibrate and can communicate, and you carry out your actions, your expression becomes something from upstairs, isn't it? And so with what we've got at the moment, we've got these fractured parties. We've got these parties which think that they use their mind to try and understand things. They don't look at nature, they don't look at anything. They look at abstract reasoning, mathematics, money, economy. Money, what's money? What's behind money? Behind money is vice, drugs, guns, violence, wars, you know. But so the whole government is sort of based around money. All right, you know, the porn industry, child industry, all of this industry, billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. Even behind oil, $1 trillion industry, raping the earth, taking oil out, taking the blood out. So money is not the best way to sort of put your thoughts. Everything that you do shouldn't be in order to create money or to satisfy people's needs through money. That's one of the illnesses of the system. So with the governments that we've got, they're not doing what we want. You know, both governments are the same. You know, it's like one hand's controlling both sides. Someone that's blind, he looks at this one, he goes, oh yeah, I like that one. And when that one annoys him, he goes, oh look, I like that one. And then when that one annoys him, he goes, I like that one. But it's just controlled by the same hand. And people can't see that a lot of the time. Some people are beginning to be able to see what's going on, but it's very difficult to open up that vision, to clarify what's going on. And so we're at a point, aren't we? We're at a point where, you know, what do we do? A lot of people don't vote. You know, what's the point voting? What's the point doing anything? So my prediction is that I think there'll be more parties that come into the narrative, the social narrative, and they'll be sort of thinking about nature. You know, I think as things get worse and worse and worse in nature, as the weather gets worse, as the sea gets worse, as the animals become more extinct, we might see massive sort of near-death extinction levels of animals, you know. We'll see the ecosystem starting to fail because there aren't any bees, you know. So there might be like a huge priority, you know, to have bees, you know, a government mandate. We must have more bees. Let's have this place full of bees. When has the government done that? So the government might start to have to take ideas or policy or whatever it is in order to try and level out the world in a natural way, because you're going to have constantly this fight between technology and nature. They're going to try and replace nature with technology, but they might not be able to. So there's still going to be, nature's always going to win over technology, because nature's from this planet, is from this plane. Technology is something that's coming in from somewhere else. You know, you could say it's from Talatala or a world like that, but anyway. So what I think, my prediction is that I think there are going to be more parties that spring up, and they're going to be nature-based parties, and they're going to try to navigate, you know, a niche that hasn't been navigated before. But the issue is that I think that this is always what's missing, is that there's not consciousness. Behind nature, there's intelligence. If you don't take plant medicines, or maybe if you're not a witch, or if you can't see, or you're psychic or something like that, it's difficult to see the world behind plants, the world behind insects. It is intelligent. It is another universe. It is a meta-universe. It is a matrix. It is a simulation. There are entities far more intelligent than what we have access to in these bodies, and they inform us, you know. We think that as humans, we're not informed by the things around us because we don't understand it rationally or in language. But when we go to a place and the energy is different, we are informed and we behave differently. And an entity can come close to you and it can change your energy and cause you to act differently. When you go to nature, you act differently, you calm down. And so if you have plants and you have spirit and you have things around you, right? That informs you, that teaches you something, that guides you, yeah, if that's what you're looking for. So there is something very important behind nature. And I think that without admitting this, because science doesn't want us to admit it, science is trying to close this down. It wants this closed down. It does not want us, it doesn't want us to have access to nature, because nature knows more than technology. This is a simulation and it's run on nature. Technology wants a metaverse built on technology, right? But it will take everything from nature to put it in. The metaverse is informed by nature. If you go back to the Gnostics and the demiurge is dumb, it's blind, it needs God, and it copies God, and it makes another copy, and sometimes the copy can be more beautiful. If you look at Talatala, which is in the Hindu texts, it is more beautiful. Yeah, it is illusionary, okay? But you need to have something that you're taking something from. You need a source, you need a point, you need to be informed from something. And so this is where we're going to go, I believe. We're going to have parties which grow up in the future, which are going to try and claim back the land, but I think they'll fail. And the principle behind that is because they're not going to bring consciousness into it, because not enough people are into that. You've got too many fractions, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, and they just can't get their ego out of the way and admit that maybe, you know, there's something that is just all around us, and that if that does happen and it pulls us back, we won't go forwards. I think that the parties for the future that will spring up will be the natural parties, but if they don't bring consciousness into it and they don't recognize what is behind nature, then I don't think they'll succeed. Therefore, I urge people to set up parties or green parties with consciousness, with some sort of understanding of nature, asking nature, borrowing from nature, taking nature's energy and trying to push forward in order to break the system that we have. Because every single time we have a revolution, or we rebel against something, or we tear the modern narrative down, we try to replace it with something, and we replace it with the same thing in a different face. Yeah, we need to replace it with consciousness, and we can only do that if we are consciousness ourselves, if we purify ourselves, if we look at ourselves. We need to be, the people that need to lead us need to be masters, they need to be sages, they need to be really intelligent people that understand different dimensions and that are very well studied, not career politicians. Thank you.